Hello everyone. Today our group will present the topic of concepts of philosophy, and we are group 1. Before we begin, let me ask a simple question. Have you ever wondered why we exist, or how we know what is true? Philosophy helps us think deeply about life and the world around us. It teaches us to stop and think, instead of accepting everything immediately. Through philosophy, we learn about to ask questions. For example, we may ask why people think differently, or why some actions are right while others are wrong. Philosophy also encourages thinking. This means we learn to think carefully and look at problems from different views. It asks important questions about human life and existence, such as the meaning of life and our role in society. By thinking about the questions, philosophy helps us understand ourselves better and help us understand the world in deeper and clearer way. So what is philosophy? Philosophy is the study of very basic and important questions in life. It helps us think about reality, knowledge, wealth, and human existence. Philosophy is not only about books or famous thinkers. It is about how we think in our daily life. For example, when we ask what is right or wrong, or when we try to understand the truth, we are doing philosophy. Philosophy also teaches us how to think clearly. It helps us give reason for our ideas, not just our feelings. Some key questions in philosophy are: why do things exist? How do we know what we know? And how we should we act as a good or responsible person? By asking this question, philosophy helps us make better decisions and become better thinkers in real life.
So today I would like to introduce different approaches to the meaning of philosophy. In general, philosophy can be understood in several ways. Depends on how deeply we reflect on the world, life, and ourselves. In this presentation, I will explain small main approaches: fundamental thinking, significant meaning, and in-deeper thinking. So the first philosophy can be seen as fundamental thinking. These approaches focus on the most basic and fundamental questions about reality and knowledge. Instead of accepting things as they appear, philosophy encourages us to ask deeper questions, such as what is truth and what is knowledge. These questions may seem simple, but they form the foundation of human understanding, the intellectual inquiry. Through fundamental thinking, philosophy helps us question that we believe we know and how we know it. The second approach is significant meaning. Here, philosophy explores values, purpose, and the meaning of life rather than focusing only on facts. These approaches asks questions like what we makes life meaningful or what is worth pursuing in life. Philosophy, in this sense, guides us to reflect on our goals, moral values, and personal responsibilities. It helps individuals understand not only how to live, but also why they live in a certain way. So the third approach is in deep thinking. This approach goes beyond the surface living thinking and encourages critical reflection. Philosophy challenges us to examine our beliefs and assumptions by asking questions such as why do we believe what we believe. Through in-deep thinking, we learn to apologize in idea carefully, question common opinions, and develop in development and logical reasons.
We are going to talk about the branches of philosophy. Philosophy is study of fundamental questions about life, knowledge, reality, and values. Instead of giving simple answers, philosophy encourages us to think deeply and critically. There are many areas in philosophy, but today we will focus on four main branches. The first one is epistemology. The second one is metaphysicals. The third one is logic. And the last one is axology. On this slide, we can see the four main branches of philosophy. First is epistemology, which is the study of knowledge. It focuses on how we know things and where our knowledge comes from, as well as the limits of human understanding. Next is metaphysicals, the study of reality and existence. It asks fundamental questions about what exists and the nature of being, such as reality, time, and free will. The third branch is logic, which is the study of reasoning. Logic helps us think clearly and decide whether arguments and conclusions are valid. Finally, axology is study of values. It explores what is considered right, good, and beautiful, including moral and aesthetic values. Together, these four branches help us better understand how we think, what exists, and what truly matters in life.
This slide focuses on the key questions of philosophies. These questions are often described as timeless questions because people continue to ask them across different historical periods and cultural background. This helps us understanding the world and ourselves at a fundamental level and form the foundation of philosophical inquiry. The first question is there a purpose in life? This question belongs to axology, which focuses on value and means. It encourages us to reflect on whether life has means and what values are worth pursuing. The second question is, where does the world come from? This falls under metaphysicals, which study relative and exist, including what the world is and how things exist. The third question is, how can we know what is true? This question leads to epistemology, which examines the nature of knowledge, how it is acquired, and how we distinguish trust from falsehood. The final question is, how ought we to live? This related to ethics, which deal with right and wrong, and guidelines our moral decisions in daily life. Overall, these key questions shape how we understand life, relative knowledge, and morality, which explain why philosophies remain relative today.
Hello everyone, let's start with the core of today's topic. Philosophy's dual nature. Philosophy is universe. Its questions about existence and values resonate across the globe, but it also deeply specific, shaped by each nation's culture and context. Even global issues carry unique local pacifical meanings, and Malaysia is no exception. This local context is best embodied in Malaysia's Negara. Its goals are clear: to unite all people, build a just and democratic society, embrace all diverse cultures, and drive progress with science and technology. To achieve this, we uphold 5 core principles: belief in God, loyalty to king and country, supremacy of constitution, rule of law, and courtesy and morality, each of physiological pillar of our nation. Those principles aren't just words, they are practical philosophy for national governance or constitution as a supreme law balance, universality and localness, protecting rights while honoring our multicultural and religious diversity. For us as citizens, they calculate loyalty and respect for differences. By upholding morality and criticism, we keep our society harmonies. In short, local context gives philosophy life.
For the final part of our presentation, I will focus on national philosophy and how it leads to the idea of falsafa sejahtera. National philosophy refers to the core ideas and values that guide a nation. In Malaysia, philosophy is not only theoretical but practical. It influences how we understand education, citizenship, morality, and national development. So, philosophy becomes the foundation for how society is shaped. The national philosophy is applied mainly through two important frameworks: the national philosophy of education and the Nagara. The national philosophy of education emphasizes holistic development. It aims to develop individuals intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Nagara, on the other hand, provides moral and ethical guidance for society. It promotes unity, responsibility, and harmony in a multicultural nation. Together, they show how philosophy is translated into education and social values. From the foundations, we arrive at the concept of falsafa sejahtera. Falsafa sejahtera refers to holistic and balanced well-being. It emphasizes harmony between the mind, body, and soul, as well as between the individual, society, and nature. This philosophy reminds us that development is not meaningful if it focuses only on economic or material success without moral and emotional balance. To conclude, philosophy helps us understand what truly matters in life, our values, our responsibilities, and our purpose as human beings. Although philosophy is universal, it's never abstract. It takes different forms in different societies, shaped by culture and history. In Malaysia, these ideas are reflected through frameworks such as national education philosophy, Rangkunagara, and Falsafa Sejahtera. Together, they guide us to become balanced individuals, to live human, humanously in a diverse society, and to contribute to sustainable national development. Thank you, everyone.